are the first to call themselves the Assassins.
Hi guys, this is Dormouse03.
And I'm Iron Praetorian.
And we are here to talk about Assassin's Creed Origins. So we saw a bunch of stuff at E3 this year about this game, saw a good chunk of gameplay, and we wanted to share our thoughts. Yeah, it was like half an hour after the Ubisoft conference, and then they showed a little bit during the Microsoft conference as well.
And it gave us a good gauge for what the game looks like the mechanics, where it's set. So I guess, first and foremost, it's set in ancient Egypt, which is the oldest setting that any Assassin's Creed has had. Which
right,
is awesome.
Hence the name Origins.
So it's supposed to be like either the beginning of the Brotherhood or the earliest Brotherhood. So we don't know whether it's like the protagonist is setting up the Brotherhood or whether he's already in the Brotherhood, if that makes sense.
Right. Yes, it's unclear exactly what that's about, but they do talk about it being the beginning of the Brotherhood of Assassins. And so whether that's already established before you begin the game or whether you establish that during the game, we don't know, but that's kind of the setting in terms of the story. So,
yeah,
that is cool.
It's a lot more open world, which I like. It looks like it's going to be a lot bigger than any other Assassin's Creed we've seen. Because I remember the Kingdom area in the first Assassin's Creed was quite large, but this seems to be like 10 times the size, which is awesome.
Right.
Because I love exploring.
They were showing part of it during the gameplay, and then they opened up the map, and then it was like this huge area, which is pretty cool. I do think that the open world element of it will be a good addition.
Agreed.
You know? I mean, they've been kind of semi-open world in the past, but this looks like they're adding full-on, like, more in-depth side quests and things like that. It really reminded me a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn, and so it's like Assassin's Creed Zero Dawn.
Agreed.
Is what it kind of seems like.
Also Far Cry Primal, which we'll get to with some of the game mechanics.
Yes. Yep. It definitely looks like they've been pulling from some of their other titles, which I think is good. And these are not complaints, by the way. I think that we both were really happy with the gameplay and stuff that we saw.
It's a step in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So, in this one, you have, I think, a spear, a shield, a khopesh, and a bow, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can shoot people in the head with it. And the hidden blade, obviously. So it's nice that you've got some range. And, we've never had a shield before in any of the Assassin's Creeds. So that'll be an interesting game mechanic to use.
And I liked some of the gameplay that they showed. It looked a lot less like you just kind of hold a button and then press a button to counter and whatnot. It looked more
fluid.
Like they were parrying and attacking. So it does look like they have changed up the gameplay somewhat in terms of the combat, which is cool. And another thing that they've done is add in the leveling system. And so different enemies will be stronger and more difficult depending on their level versus your level.
Yeah, and I think they had that, or they started to have that in Syndicate, with certain areas being higher levels. And Unity, I believe?
Possibly. I don't know.
But we didn't have as good a leveling system as they showed. So they've definitely built upon it, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And skills.
And they talked about having skills, right? Skills that you upgrade, which again reminded me very much of Horizon Zero Dawn's upgrade tree, which, is just like any other game with RPG elements. Yeah. Upgrade tree. That's just the one that comes to mind for whatever reason, because it's recent. But They had different abilities that you could purchase. So I think in the part that we saw, they leveled up this war bow. You can also level up stealth, and you can level up combat skills and things like that.
You also have an eagle that spies for you, which you can probably level up, I would assume.
Yeah, and maybe you can get him to drop bees on people or something.
Yeah, because that's definitely like the owl from Far Cry Prime.
Yeah. No, definitely. It was very much like that.
It's like eagle vision with a pun, because it's literally eagle vision.
It's eagle vision with an actual eagle.
Did they? They did show eagle vision again, like being able to like scan people and detect them, or not? Because I didn't.
I'm not sure. I mean, you did it with the eagle, and then you saw him looking at people, and then it told what level they were and stuff.
Yeah.
So it seems like it has to be within your line of sight, either through your own vision or your eagle's vision, you know.
So maybe he doesn't have the eagle vision ability, which would be interesting, which means that he's not a hybrid human. Those who came before, maybe.
Yeah, that's possible. Or it's possible that they just didn't show that. I mean, I don't know. Or they're trying to do it differently.
Exactly. So I'm curious. Also, the fire mechanics looked cool. Being able to set boats on fire and flaming pitch barrels and stuff to like set camps or as a distraction was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then you could also like let animals out of cages. So another thing that was really Far Cry.
Yeah, I would say
about it.
Fire mechanics in Ubisoft for me started in Far Cry 2 with the flamethrower in the grass, and they've just kind of improved over time with them.
Yeah.
So, yep, flaming arrows are awesome. And talking about ships, the traversal of terrain, so you can use the horse, you can run, you can get on boats.
Presumably they will hopefully have some type of fast travel system where you can fast travel, because they did still have synchronization. So they said that the world would be, so like the sort of fog on the map, as it were, would be taken away just by running through an area, but they do still have the sync points, and so hopefully those will be
because they have
used
been the
for
fast
travel
beacons for the more recent
before.
games. And you can also maybe slide down the Great Pyramid, which was kind of shown in the trailer of him sliding down it. I want to do that.
That's cool. And, you know, just with having such a big open world, you do really need to have fast travel.
Agreed.
It's just essential, I think. Now that things have gotten to where they can make the world so big, not having fast travel would be bad. So I'm sure they'll have it. There's no indication that they don't.
Oh, I think we can also swim underwater like we did in Black Flag.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you can swim underwater anywhere rather than just in the
diving bell
locations or like caves and stuff. So that's cool.
And there's underwater combat because they showed a fight with a hippopotamus.
Yep, I was thinking
that
of
happened
the angry
in
hippo.
the water. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or the hungry hippo. Hungry Hippos.
Well, there wasn't 4 of them, at least.
That's true. If there were 4 of them, that person playing would have been dead. I'm quite certain.
You have died.
You have died. You are now being turned into hippo poop. So
lovely. If that's an item in game, that would be funny.
Yeah. We veered off track. So, anyway, the open world gameplay looks cool. The combat looks cool. There's lots of different animals and things that are accurate to the area, it looks like, unlike some Far Cries.
Far Cry Primal crocodiles in Europe made me laugh. And giant devilfish. They're like Asian.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, and you can skin them, so that makes me think that there will be some form of crafting in game. Like ammo pouches and stuff, maybe, that they did in other Assassin's Creeds. And there's going to be like a tier system for gear, so there's like common gear, rare gear, legendary gear, I guess.
Yep.
Or whatever.
And it's also leveled. So.
Yep. So you can have a really good item, but if it's level 3, then it's not gonna do as much damage as, say, a common item that's level 10, I guess.
Right. Probably. I would guess that too. Like having a rare item when you're at a low level that's at your level is really great while you're that level, but once you've leveled up, you're going to need to replace that, which is, it's very RPG element-ish, which is cool. Do we know much about the actual story of this, or are we unsure about that?
A bit. Like, he's like a Magi, a leader of a community, and he's like the last one. So he's also working against other people that are, I guess, are they going to be Templars and Assassins, or are they going to be something else? Like,
right.
Because maybe the Templars haven't been created yet. And I assume there's going to be some Roman influence in there, because we saw like gladiatorial combat, but whether that's like Egyptian gladiatorial combat, but it's 49 BC, and that's like Ptolemaic era, and that's Cleopatra's dynasty. So that isn't too far away from like Mark Antony, Julius Caesar, Cleopatra. So maybe there will be some Roman influence, which would also be awesome.
Yes, and could potentially tie it to the Ezio timeline.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Although that's
like
a lot later.
As far back, yeah. But could set some things into motion that affected. I mean, it could. It doesn't mean that it will, but it could have some type of thing that like sets something up for those games.
That would be cool.
Which would be neat, but not necessary.
And I think also there was an article I read somewhere that in a Game Radar interview that they said that there would be some modern day interactions, and that some of the characters from before would be present. So like
right. So like Sean and Rebecca
and William, Desmond's father.
Mm-hmm.
So whether we actually get missions or not, which I hope we do, because I would quite like for them to like wrap up the modern day stuff at some point.
Yeah.
Or at least make some progress.
No, I agree. I think it would be nice to move forward with that, because I am still interested in the modern day stuff and where they're going with that. Although I'm not sure that even they know where they're going with that, or if they knew, for the past couple of games. So maybe they figured it out.
Maybe that's what they were trying to do with this 2-year cycle, was to try and work out where they wanted the franchise to go. And like, this is just a building or a stepping stone on sort of like for the series, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope that it's a nice little reset for the series. I think that they took this 2-year gap, not that it took them 2 years to make the game, because the team that's been making this particular game has been working on it since Brotherhood. So
really? I thought it was Black Flag.
Or not Brotherhood, Black Flag. You're right. That's what I meant.
I thought that's what
And so I said Brotherhood and was picturing the Black Flag cover. Anyway.
It's all bees.
So, point being, it's been a while, and I think people get a misconception about these things, that because they have one come out every year, that it's like it only takes them a year to make the game, which is ridiculous and untrue. And so this team has been working on this one for a while, and it's nice that they got the extra year to work on it, because I think just this fatigue for the series had kind of set in, because I think even though I thought Syndicate was quite good,
I think the main story for Syndicate wasn't the strongest in the series, should we say?
No. I agree with you. The main story for Syndicate wasn't the strongest, but I did enjoy the characters, and I enjoyed the setting, and I enjoyed the gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think it's just the franchise fatigue was starting to happen, that even though the games may have been fun, it's like, well, we don't need one every year.
Agreed.
Kind of thing.
If you can give us quality games every 2 years, I'd prefer that than average games every 1 year.
Right. And they could start doing a model like put out a main game every year, or put out a main game every 2 years, and then continue to support that game through the next year with DLC and additional content, or maybe a little standalone side story
or
type
more
deal.
Assassin's Creed Chronicles, because
Right.
they were good games.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they were. And so it's not that they can't continue, because I think what these companies think about is we want to continue making money off of this series. You know, there are other ways for them to continue making money off of the series without trying to push out this conveyor belt of games every year, you know. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Here's your Assassin's Creed game for every year. You know, let's maybe switch it up a little bit.
Agreed. And it's also going to be a launch title for the Xbox One X, so it should look really good.
Yes. I mean, it looked really pretty from what we saw. And it's gorgeous. I really like the setting. Egypt is just super cool. You know, like nobody's going to complain about the setting being in Egypt.
No. And it's a nice change because we haven't had an African country yet.
Mm-hmm. And it is nice to move back in time because they had been sort of moving forward in time, and it's like, oh dear, we're reaching modern era. Let's back things up a little.
But that's the awesome thing about Assassin's Creed is you don't have to chronologically go forward in time. You can just go, and now we need to go back. Modern day can progress, and we can go back rather than, because I think like the most modern game has been Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia or the World War I segment of Syndicate.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think those are the two most modern. Apart from the modern day stuff, obviously.
Right, yeah. Well, the modern day stuff is separate. Like, the modern day stuff is the continuity that runs through all of the games, whereas the other stuff, like you said, can go back and forward in time, and that's all good. So yeah, so that's Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm really excited for it.
I know what I'm getting for my birthday.
Right, because it's your birthday right around that time.
Yep. I usually get an Assassin's Creed.
I think it's going to be good. You know, or at least I think that I'm going to enjoy it. Whether or not it's objectively good,
yes.
I don't know. I think I will enjoy it.
I will more than likely enjoy it too. Because I've enjoyed every Assassin's Creed. There's just been some that were average, and then
yes,
some great ones.
Agreed. Yep, I agree with you. I wouldn't call any of them bad games. There's just some that are great games and others that are mediocre games. And I hope that this will be a great one. So,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So let us know what you guys thought about the Assassin's Creed Origins coverage that you have seen. If you know any more about the game, I'd love to hear about it. And here's looking forward to October.
Indeed.